you guys know that college football, college basketball, those are my shit. I get a fucking hard on for college basketball and football.
Half a chubby?
No, it's full.
Full of chub?
It's only like an inch longer than a semi, but it's full. But August 29th, first games, week 0, technically, not week 1, even though a lot of teams are playing on week 0 this year. The big one to start things off, so what we're going to do here is, with our college football, we're going to look at some of the games to watch through weeks 0 through 3. We're going to give our bold takes for the year. We're going to give a few other predictions as well as our 12-team bracket, what we think that's going to look like at this point before the season starts. But to start it off, week 0, a noon kickoff, the Aer Lingus College Football Classic out in Dublin, Ireland. We've got North Carolina, Bill Belichick's North Carolina Tar Heels versus the TCU Horned Frogs. Should be a decent game. Right now, they have TCU as a 6.5-point favorite. Obviously, we're still well over a month out, so things will change. But very intriguing matchup between an ACC team and a Big 12 team early. Going to be interesting to see if Belichick can turn it around with North Carolina from last year, because I don't think that's what I think some of us kind of expected it, but I don't think it was at the level that we expected it. Another game to keep an eye on. The ACC is going to be interesting this year. Yeah, you've got Miami. I don't think Clemson's going to be very good. We're going to see what Florida State's got this year. They've got a matchup that we'll talk about a little bit later on. Not technically an ACC matchup here. Okay? This is not an ACC matchup. Keep that in mind. 2 ACC schools fighting it out. They may have actually switched it. I don't believe so. Believe this is not an ACC game. But Virginia, North Carolina State, currently Virginia 5.5-point favorite in this game at home. Can Virginia repeat the success they had from a year ago? Can they keep themselves relevant in the top 25 and in the college football world? I mean, they played in the ACC championship. I believe, didn't they win the ACC?
No, Duke won it last year.
Duke won it. Okay. But played in the ACC championship game. Yeah, it was an ACC championship game without Miami because they had a loss or two in there that kept them out of it. But a very wide open Athletic Coast Conference, in my opinion. I'm sure that Bobby would agree. He is our local ACC guy.
He is.
But very intriguing matchup early with 2 teams that I think have had success in the past. One team who's kind of trying to rebuild in North Carolina State. One team who I think saw the fruition of their rebuild a little bit last year and is looking to carry the momentum over this year in Virginia.
The big question with Virginia, Jason, and the same thing happened to, I don't know if you remember North Texas last year, Mean Green, is when your team is really good for just 1 year and you're not a Alabama and you're not a Georgia and you're not an Ohio State, you're not a Texas Tech or any of these blue blood college football programs, your guys tend to get picked up by these blue blood programs in the transfer portal. Because they go, oh, that team's winning a lot. They must have a lot of good players. Let me go poach around and see what I can get. Oh, they have this senior guard who's in his last year. Hey, want to come to this school and like play for a national championship and get recognized on a national stage? All right, cool. Click. North Texas just lost a player, you know? Who's to say that same thing did not just happen to Virginia? Because I'm pretty sure it did.
Yes, but they were also able to hit the transfer portal. They brought in Bo Prabula from Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be their starting quarterback. I think he adds a lot to that team. And then Eli Holstein from Pitt, he kind of got surpassed as the starter last year, but, another quality quarterback to bring in. They made some moves to bring in pieces that I think are going to help this team. I like Virginia. I'm excited to see how they look this year. And I really want to see them continue the success from last year because their games were fun to watch. I don't know how much you boys were able to watch Virginia, but their games were fun.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Virginia was like one of the shocks of the season in terms of teams doing really well. That we didn't expect to do really well.
No, nobody really expected Virginia to be like that, but nobody predicted that it would be Virginia and Duke in the ACC championship game and then Miami make it to the national championship.
Right.
So, week 0, we do have 2 teams making their FBS debuts. Both teams, and I give them credit for this, are playing FBS schools in their FBS debut. A lot of credit there. We won't get too much into those because we've got to see a little bit. I will say, though, one of them is favored in their game. And based on what they did in the FCS, I think that they could become a destination for a lot of good players and could end up making themselves into one of the better small schools we see in the FBS division. North Dakota State favored by a touchdown and a half on Jacksonville State in their first game. Playing at home in the Fargo Dome, place gets allowed North Dakota State a ton of success in the FCS. Really what you would say is a blue blood in the FCS level, making the jump, playing in the Mountain West. So we'll see how they do. And then Sacramento State. And believe it or not, if you could guess what conference they'd be in, you'd probably be fucking wrong. They're going to play in the MAC and get some action early, playing Eastern Michigan on the road. EMU is favored in that one. But 2 schools making their debut in the FBS level, so it'll be fun to watch. I'm really looking forward to watching North Dakota State a lot more this year with them being in the Mountain West and the Mountain West having the CBS Sports Network deal. I'm really looking forward to seeing them more.
Yeah.
Pretty much it for week 0. We go to week 1. An intriguing game in my mind because we saw Colorado have a lot of success before last year, kind of a down year last year, but still able to pull in some players because of their coach, taking on Georgia Tech on the road. Kind of an interesting matchup for 2 teams that you wouldn't necessarily pick at the top of their conference, but wouldn't be overly surprised that they end up at the top of their conference somehow.
Right.
Georgia Tech going to have to replace their quarterback in Haynes King, but I don't know if you guys know this, they do have a quarterback whose brother was pretty damn good in the college football ranks last year. And that is Fernando Mendoza's brother.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what Georgia Tech's got. Again, an ACC conference that I think it's Miami and then everybody else, but could be surprised. Miami has to show me sustained success before I say that they can run away with the conference. Moving on down while trying to play a college football game at the same time. Chance. Not much we'll get into at this one, but Indiana State going to Purdue, buddy.
I could care less. I hate both the schools.
You like Indiana State?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. Local
There are
school,
reasons
I
for
thought
that.
we had a little bit of a tie there.
No, I'm not a liberal.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, we're not getting them going. Intriguing matchup here from a MAC school against the Big Ten school. We see one of these upsets, it seems like, every year. And this has the potential to be it, in my eyes. Toledo at Michigan State. Pat Fitzgerald coming over, taking over Michigan State. Let's see what he's got there. Hopefully there's no hazing in the locker room so he can just coach. But Toledo in an interesting matchup here with Michigan State, one of the lower level teams as of right now in the Big Ten. Chance, what do you think of this Toledo Michigan State matchup? Do you think this is pretty high up on the upset watch for week 1?
Yeah, I mean, Michigan State never impressed me at all last year.
No, their quarterback did leave, and it pains Michigan State fans even more. He went to Northwestern.
I mean, I didn't think it was anything special last year, but that was probably their best player. So, I mean, yeah, they definitely could upset them. I mean, week 1 gets weird. New teams everywhere. Everybody's on new teams.
I mean, and here's the other thing, Chance, because, we've seen it, yeah, you focus more on Notre Dame football, not so much on Indiana, but I'm sure you follow them a little bit, and you're in Big Ten country. But Pat Fitzgerald did one hell of a job turning that Northwestern program around when he was there.
Yeah.
Can
they got a new stadium out of it.
Success at Michigan State and show us a glimpse of that this year?
I don't think this year, no. There is a sleeper team that I have in the Big Ten, but it's certainly not Michigan State.
Okay, we'll give our bold takes here in a minute. Because I asked Bobby for his too while he's puking up that lettuce. Let's see here. Not as many good games week 1 as we've had in the past. I think teams are starting to shy away from that. The Aflac kickoff game this year, Baylor and Auburn. Auburn favored by 7. I think two teams that really want to get back to what they were in the 2010s. I mean, we really haven't seen either one of these teams be what we thought they could project to be and continue to progress along the lines that they were from the 2010s. I mean, I think us growing up watching college football before we got to college and high school and shit, Baylor and Auburn were two of our favorite teams to pick and stuff. They had talent all over the board. They were top teams in their conference. Auburn was just coming off Cam Newton. Baylor just coming off RG3. There's a lot of history there in the 21st century with these teams. Can they get back to having some success? Billy, what do we think of this matchup? I think it's intriguing, and I think it's a good tone setter for both of these teams going into the year.
Yeah, it's going to decide kind of where we take our minds for these two teams going forward, right?
I would have to imagine it does. I don't see a world where it doesn't. We've got to see how they compete against a team from another big-time conference early, and we're definitely getting that.
Yeah, it's just going to – how are we going to talk about either team during week 2? Are we going to be sitting here saying, oh, it's going to be another one of those years for that team? And then for the other team, is it going to be, hey, they look pretty good, look out, this could be fun? You know what I mean? It's one of those things. You know what I mean? Hey, you just don't know, and they have to go out there and do it.
All right, 2 more intriguing games that we're going to not spend as much time on, but we're going to mention Boston College at Cincinnati. Cincinnati favored by 7.5. Bearcats, baby. Good old Dean Kellogg. We got to throw that out there. Just saw Dean this weekend. Fucking love that guy. And then Tulane at Duke. Tulane coming off making the college football playoff. Duke coming off winning the ACC. Very intriguing matchup there. Game is at Duke. Duke favored by 10. I think that's a little high, but...
Well, you got to think, what's Tulane going to look like without their head coach?
Yes, exactly. What are they going to look like after the head coach left? I think Duke still has some pieces. They did
Lost
lose
their
one of
quarterback.
best defensive players at safety to Ohio State.
And they lost their quarterback
Terry
to
Moore.
Indiana.
No, to Miami.
Yeah, to Miami.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Indiana
Wrong
got Josh Hoover from Kansas
TCU.
State.
TCU's quarterback went to
From TCU.
Indiana. Sorry.
I thought it was. Oh.
But very intriguing matchup there to kind of see what Tulane's got, see what Duke's got after some pieces have moved around.
Yeah, did you see where they have Duke ranked in the ACC on FanDuel?
No.
The lowest odds to win the conference.
Really?
They went last year. They were 4th. This year they are dead fucking
Well, you gotta
last.
think how bad the ACC was last year outside of Miami.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Well, I don't think Duke is going to be repeating what they did a year ago. They might finish at like 5-7, not 7-5.
I think.
I give the edge to Tulane. I'm sorry, Duke, but
I still give it to Duke. I mean, they're an ACC school.
yeah.
All right, and then game of the day on Saturday. Not game of the week, but game of the day on Saturday. Clemson at LSU. Two teams.
That might be a blowout.
That might be a blowout.
They only have LSU favored by 11.5.
That
I mean,
take
that's
11
still a
and a
lot
half.
of points for two big-time schools.
Yeah.
It is, and I get that. But two teams that are coming off a very, very depressing year, which one's going to start out hot and show us that they can turn things around? LSU, new coach. Clemson breaking in a new quarterback. You know,
He's not very good in the game, I know that.
yeah. But, you know, who's going to be that team to show us they can turn things around early this year?
LSU got Arizona State's quarterback.
Sam Levitt, yeah.
LSU is interesting for this reason. One, yes, Lane Kiffin. Can he bring what made him so great at Ole Miss to LSU? I think he can. But the big question is 40 new players. 4-0. That's a lot of new in one place.
It's going to be an interesting year for both schools. I think when you look at Clemson, their head coach is definitely on the hot seat at this point. So Clemson's got to come out firing early for him to be able to keep his job. And LSU, Kiffin's got to want to make a splash in the SEC this first year. He does not want all the haters to be right about him, that he can't do this at another big-time program. I mean, because really, what big game did he win at Ole Miss?
And he's going to a place where that's been the ugly stigma for all of Brian Kelly's tenure there. Like, what was LSU known for? Not winning the big game.
Well,
that's
look who they had as their head coach.
what Kelly's known for.
But it's like now you're you look at Lane Kiffin's Ole Miss tenure. What big games did he win over there? Right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be an interesting year for both teams. I think when you look at LSU, I really think that the SEC is down this year, and it's a good year for them to kind of bounce back and get back to the top of the conference.
no.
And again, we keep bringing up the ACC, but it's just so hard to know what the ACC is going to look like this year.
I think in terms of just unpredictability, I think the number one unpredictable thing might just be the SEC this year. And then I think
the SEC is wide open.
Oh, the SEC
like the
is
ACC.
wide open. ACC, other than Miami, who is there? Is Pitt going to show up? Is Virginia going to replicate? Is Florida State going to bounce back from what
Is
was
Virginia Tech going to be halfway decent?
Is Virginia Tech under James Franklin going to be something other than a cool entrance at their home games? What is the ACC? I think we kind of know the state of the Big Ten at this point. I think we kind of just are moving pieces around. I think
The
we kind
Big
of
Ten is the premier conference, and the SEC is going to hate to hear it, but they really are at this point.
there's going to be, I think we know 4 teams who are probably going to be around. Maybe you could put that down to 3. I think we know the 3 teams that are going to be around. No, I'll put 4. Yeah. So there's that other school in Cali that looks good, but like.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt this, but a point that I want to bring up, I just remembered with Baylor, DJ Lagway is now their quarterback.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's right.
To throw out there.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good in the game. He really is. Like,
the other team we're not talking about in the ACC is what is Louisville going to look like? They've got Lincoln Kineholtz coming in there to run that offense, who was at Ohio State. You know, you're bringing in a quarterback from a blue blood of college football. He wasn't there for no reason.
Yep.
I think that's just the state of the ACC at this point. The SEC, I honestly could see it being a really big year for South Carolina.
It could be. But it better
is
be.
Beamer still there?
Beamer ball is still
I
a
believe
thing.
so.
But this may you want to talk about coach on the hot seat. Beamer ball era might end if South Carolina doesn't do anything this year.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see with him. We'll move on. Another intriguing game. We're not going to spend time on this one. UCLA at Cal. Interesting Big Ten ACC matchup there. God, that feels so fucking weird to say still.
Uh-huh.
Should be a fucking Pac-12 matchup. But nope. We're playing out of conference.
Yup.
Apple Cup. I think Washington runs that one. Washington and Washington State. These games are on Sunday now. And again, the team we just brought up, 2 teams we just brought up in their conferences, Louisville, Ole Miss. What is Ole Miss able to do without Lane Kiffin? I believe Trinidad Chambliss is still their quarterback.
Yes.
He's in the game.
This is his last year.
And then Louisville. You know, what does Louisville look like in this ACC that's just going to be an absolute clusterfuck?
Right. It's a good way to put it.
I mean, this is they have Ole Miss favored by 6.5. I really like this matchup for both teams. I think it's really intriguing. And it's another matchup where we look at it and we're going to be able to tell right away what the year is going to look like for the winner or for both of these teams, I feel like.
I agree. Because if Ole Miss comes out and struggles against Louisville, I don't think we're going to be talking about, and this is just unfortunate for Louisville, but I don't know if we're going to be having the conversation of, oh, Louisville might be better than we thought. I think it's more going to be Oklahoma might be, or not Oklahoma, Ole Miss might be in trouble.
I think it's going to be, you know, a little bit of both. I think that this game really is going to tell more about Louisville than it is about Ole Miss. You know, if they keep things close and really battle Ole Miss and they're keeping it up with an SEC school, they beat them. Like, it's really going to tell us a lot. They get blown out. We know they're not ready to compete at that high level yet.
Right.
You know, we'll have to wait and see on this matchup. It's going to tell us a lot about Louisville. It's also going to tell us what we need to know, I think, early about a Lane Kiffin-less Ole Miss. Chance, I'm sorry, this still isn't game of the week to me, but at historic Lambeau Field, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Notre Dame favored by 20.5. I really want to see Luke Fickell do well, but I don't think he can recruit in the Big Ten. An elite jersey matchup here. Just an elite jersey matchup between these 2 teams.
But that's as good as it gets.
You guys have seen their special.
Wisconsin with the Culver's patch.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. Going to be very interesting to see what Notre Dame looks like this year. It is funny to me because as an Ohio State fan, I tend to, you know, when they're not playing Ohio State, root for some of these former players that are getting the nod as head coaches. And in this one, it's Luke Fickell versus Marcus Freeman. I believe they were teammates at Ohio State. So very interesting there. Wisconsin's been down. They haven't had the success that they usually have in past years. We'll see if they can kind of right that ship a little bit. And if you're Notre Dame, go and beat up on the Big Ten. James, what are you looking forward to most this year from Notre Dame?
CJ Carr in his second year.
Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty much a unanimous answer with a lot of college football people. What can the kids do?
And two, what's this team going to look like? I mean, you have that bad taste in your mouth from last year. But how are you going to respond? Say what it is a cupcake schedule. You get Miami at home this year. Your toughest game on the road is at BYU. So, what's this team going to look like early in the year before you get to a Miami later in the year? You don't play USC. So, this is really how is this team going to look after last year? You return a lot of your same players. The offensive line is going to be a lot better. It was a young offensive line last year. So it should be an exciting year.
Excited, just as a college football fan, to see CJ Carr play a little bit more.
If you look at some places, he's second. Some betting books have him second in the Heisman, and some have him first.
Yeah.
You have the schedule to do it.
You really
He does. He does.
So you don't have the running game. You can't rely on the running game this year like you did last year. You're gonna have to air it out.
Yeah. Yeah, you will, and we'll see it early. We'll get a good taste of it early. I think a lot of eyes are going to be on that game for both of them. It just sucks that and the Louisville Ole Miss game are on at the same time, but may have to break out the double TVs. Now, my game of the week is on Monday night because I feel like there's a lot for both of these teams to prove this year, and I think that this first game is going to be as hard-hitting as they get between non-rivals. I believe this is an ACC game. I don't believe this was scheduled beforehand and left on the schedule to be a non-conference game. SMU at Florida State. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it now because we will when we get closer to the season, but God, this matchup just screams game of the week to me with the way that these two teams have looked and with how much there is to prove for both schools. SMU's ready to prove that they're ready to compete with the big boys in the ACC. Florida State's ready to prove that 1 year where they got left out of the playoff with Jordan Travis wasn't a fucking fluke. All right, week 2. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on week 2 and 3. We'll point out the matchups and go from there. There's one glaring game that week. We'll save that one for the end. But Missouri, Kansas. Interesting game on Friday night. Big 12 matchup at Kansas. Missouri moving on from their quarterback. Kansas trying to get back to what, they had in success a couple years ago. We'll see what they can do in a Big 12 that I think is run by Texas Tech and BYU, but could very much be open if a team can clip BYU or Texas Tech early in the year. A noon kickoff on Fox, Oklahoma at that school up north. Big Boomer Sooner fan that night. Arizona State, Texas A&M, kind of an interesting matchup. I think A&M, another team in the SEC that's really looking to improve on the success that they've had lately. Washington State at Kansas State. Washington State trying to prove that they are still a power team, even in a non-power conference. And Kansas State, I think, just trying to find a little bit of success to kind of move things forward. Program kind of taking a couple steps back the last year or two, really looking to find their footing again in the Big 12. Another decent matchup because we're going to have to see what Oklahoma State looks like, but Oregon at Oklahoma State, I think this is a trap game for Oregon, not necessarily for them to lose, but a trap game for them to look worse than they actually are. It is not easy going and winning in Stillwater.
Even if they are bad.
Even if they are bad. I believe it's Stillwater is where...
Yeah, they're in Stillwater.
Yeah, Stillwater. So we'll see what Dante Moore's got. It's going to be an early test for him. He plays Boise State in week 1. So we'll see in these first couple of games what Dante Moore can bring to the table, and we'll see if we get a little bit of Dylan Raiola spotting in any of these games. I doubt it, but we'll see.
I thought he redshirted.
You can still play 4 games.
Okay.
Wake Forest, Purdue, 2 bottom-tier teams in their conference. Wake Forest has had success recently. I think an interesting matchup just from the aspect of I think this will be a decent game. I think it'll be a decent matchup for the 2 of them. Bringing up our armed forces early, South Florida at Army, I think should be a really fun game. Army going to run the ball. They always do. South Florida wants to get out and score 100 points every game. So how do they combat the long drives of Army in this game and show us that they can have a methodical offense and show that quick strike ability?
Is this at South Florida?
It is at Army.
Oh.
Which makes it even more intriguing. Mississippi State, Minnesota. Again, 2 teams that aren't necessarily at the top of their conference. I personally think that Minnesota could be a team to take a jump in the Big Ten. I think they could be a team to surprise some people and be higher up there in the Big Ten. They'll have to prove it to us, though, with their play. A Big 12 ACC matchup, UCF and Pitt at Pitt. If Bobby were here, I'd be telling him go get some tickets because I think that'll be a decent game. Arizona at BYU, kind of an interesting Big 12 matchup there. Getting the conference games in early. Cal at Stanford should be a decent ACC matchup. Or Cal at Syracuse, sorry. Cal at Syracuse. Duke at Illinois. You know, they talk about Duke finishing in the bottom. We saw the game that these 2 teams played last year. Both teams had a very surprising year last year. Can they keep that momentum rolling? I'm going to skip over a few of the borderline games for me here. God damn it. There we go. Interesting SEC, ACC here. And this one we'll talk about a little bit because I think there's a few talking points with this. Tennessee at Georgia Tech. I think the biggest talking point is Georgia Tech ain't playing any games with their schedule early. Playing Colorado and Tennessee in weeks 1 and 2, going to be a real good test to see what this Georgia Tech team has. Billy, you're our SEC guy. I mean, what are our thoughts on Tennessee this year? Are they going to look like a football team this year?
I think so. They're worth a top 25 prediction if you're a betting person. The main thing, and it's been the last 2 years, Jason, if you watch any Tennessee games, what do they have in really, really just spades? They have offense, explosive offense. You think them getting 44 points on a Georgia defense was isolated? No, they can score points, and they do it really, really well. They just have no defense. You know, so you're having to outscore your problems, and you're getting into shootouts all the time. Well, guess what? You need a lot of freaking luck to win more than you lose. I think they will win more than they lose, but they're not going to be a playoff contender in the SEC. Could they take advantage of some of these bigger schools that may not have as good as seasons? Sure. But I could see them 20 to 25. They could spoil the party for someone, like if LSU needs a game to get in, or Ole Miss or something. I don't know their schedule by heart, but Tennessee could frustrate some of these teams that will be around playoff contention this year. They could frustrate some people. They could break some hearts.
All right. The other game we'll talk about before we get to the big time one and we get some thoughts on that one. Iowa State at Iowa, the Cyhawk. I think it'll be a very interesting game. Does Iowa have offense this year, or is it just going to be we love punts?
I can turn it.
I think it's going to be we love punts. But they'll be able to show us early with a game against Iowa State. Rivalry game at Kinnick Stadium. We'll see what they got.
Right.
Now, the game I know we all want to talk about a little bit here. 7:30 kick on ABC, down in the heart of the South. Ohio State at Texas. I'm not going to give many thoughts on this right now because we all know how I feel about this game. The only thing I'm going to tell you is I do not favor Ohio State in this game to win. I think Texas wins this game. Chance, what are your thoughts on Ohio State, Texas this year?
I mean, it's the same as it was last year. What's Arch going to look like? And I think that's the driving force for Texas. Is Arch going to play like his namesake, or is he just going to be one of those guys that had so much hype around him and nothing pans out?
I think you could really say that, not so much the namesake, but I think really the whole concept of what is he going to look like about both quarterbacks in this game.
Yeah. I trust Julian Sane more than I trust Arch.
After what I've seen, yeah. I think Sane
Yeah.
could end up having a big year.
Yeah. Because you guys
He
played
still does
at
have
Michigan
the
last
best
year, didn't
player
you?
in- Huh?
You guys played at Michigan last year, right?
I believe we played him at home last year. No, we played at Michigan last year.
That's what I thought. I mean, I know Texas is a rowdy school. They have a very good home field advantage, but when you play the game on the road,
And you look the
I
way
think
you
that-
did in that game.
exactly. We haven't seen
Right.
Arch play well on the road. We've seen him struggle against Mississippi State on the road.
Yeah, and they were a bottom tier SEC school.
Yeah, so I get it. He's at home this year, but
I mean, do you see it being a low-scoring game like last year where it was 14-7?
no, I don't. I think it's like a 31-28 type of game.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Right
have a
now,
week under
Texas
your
is
belt.
Favored by 1.5 points.
If I'm picking right now, just based off what I've seen last year, I got Ohio State winning 31-28.
Okay. Billy, what are your thoughts here?
Do you have a new kicker?
I think so. Thank God.
Okay, well, game-winning kick to win the game.
I got to see him kick a little bit first.
I mean, there's questions on both sides, Jason. There's a lot of questions. Obviously, both of them. Two of them are at the coaching position. Another
I don't know.
two questions is the quarterbacks. What are they going to look like? I think the more important thing is who lost more this offseason and who gained more from what they lost, right? Ohio State
the
just
big thing
put
is,
out
Yeah,
a
you can look at that, but Ohio Ohio State still has the best player in college football on that offense.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's
going to help them win a lot of games.
right.
And that running back returns from last year.
What?
The running back from Ohio State last year was Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson, and you've got a good chunk of the offensive line back.
But is that offensive line going to perform? Because did we not watch that Indiana game a year ago?
Now, I think Indiana last year, I think it was just meant to be. I really do.
I agree, but it's like,
I think so too.
did we not watch Ohio State's offensive line struggle?
They were.
Did we not?
We did, but here's the thing: you're giving them another summer to work on things.
You're right, but I gotta. Chance, you said
the
I
same
gotta
thing
see
I
something
said
with
about
Arch
Notre Dame.
Manning. I gotta see something with.
That was a young offensive line last year, and you played your 2 toughest games early in the year.
I agree. Also, another thing,
And
this
it really
game
wasn't
isn't.
even the offensive line that let you down in that game against Texas A&M. It was your secondary.
Also, this game
And
is
non-holding
not
call.
in Big Ten country anymore. This game is in SEC country.
Yeah. Oh God, I'd love to be there.
This is going to be a very different animal. Not saying that Ohio State might be the only Big Ten team to deal with this. Kind of might be the only team outside of the SEC that could handle an SEC crowd on the road.
Just wait till they come to Memorial Stadium in Bloomington.
Jason, you know I've said that forever. I've said that forever. Ohio State is the only team I could look at and be like, we could put them in the SEC and they would blend right in. They're the only team I will ever say about that because that is just how good that team is. But how many of them have played primetime SEC in SEC country? When was the last time Ohio State played a team that is probably, I would think that a lot of the experts are thinking that Texas is going to be a top 5 team right now.
I mean, they played at Notre Dame.
Right.
We didn't have 11 guys on the field either. I expect to win.
Playing power play football is not.
Yeah, we're not on the penalty kill here. Let's go, guys. Let's figure it out.
But that's another thing. I think Ohio State wins. I don't think this is high scoring at all. I really don't. I think it is going to be a 17 to 7 game.
Dude, I think both offenses are going to let the ball rip. I think they're going to let it rip downfield. I really do.
They're going to test the secondaries early, and I think that's what's going to make this game really fun.
Well, I mean, Ohio State just absolutely retooled at all defensive positions this offseason.
Texas retooled at the wide receiver. They still
did.
return Ryan Wingo, and they get Cam Coleman out of the portal.
Right. So, there's a lot of unknown here. But what we do know. We can say what we want about Arch, but
He plays like Cooper instead of Peyton.
he did play pretty well down the stretch last year. Last 6 games, 20 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. I can't overlook that. That's one hell of a way to go into an offseason. And look like, and I know Jason was a fan of this, looked really, really good against Michigan in the bowl game. That is momentum. Momentum's a real thing, right? I mean, if he goes out there and he shits the bed in the bowl game, I mean, we're probably having a different conversation. But I can't overlook his down-the-stretch performance. I think Sane could have a really great year. But I think Ryan Day's got to trust him. And I think he's got to feed the best player in college fucking football. For crying out loud. Well, Jason, would you agree with that? The offense has to be centered around him.
You guys heard me that year that we lost to Michigan. I know Bobby heard it, and he's not here to, to back me up on it, but all I kept saying the whole game that year we lost to Michigan and shouldn't have, the year we won the whole thing, was throw the fucking football.
To number 4.
Well, then you didn't need to. You didn't need to just throw it to number 4. I think Brandon Ennis is going to be a really good receiver for us, but you had Emeka Egbuka in that game. So, I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be a really good test for both teams early. I think it really is the game that everybody's going to be watching early because they understand the stakes of this game. All right, we're going to leave it at the first 2 weeks. And I want bold predictions here, boys. Bold predictions on the college football season. Billy, I'm going to start with you. What are some of your bold takes on college football this year?
I mean, the one off the top of my head is the SEC does not run through Athens this year. I know I am the Georgia guy on this program, but we are really young this year. Like, super fucking young.
Yeah, everybody else is arrested.
Potentially. We don't know yet. We'll find out who shows up week 1. But other than Gunner, this is a really young team. I still think we're a playoff team, but I don't think we're going to be in the running for an SEC championship. I think Indiana takes a step back. I don't know if that's a bold take or not, but it's mine. I don't think they
What do you define as a step back? They just go 16-0. Do they miss the playoff?
They're kind of similar to Georgia. They aren't. The Big Ten does not revolve around them. I don't think they make the Big Ten championship, and honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if they get knocked out round 1. Obviously, it's matchup dependent, but I could see a first round exit. There is that world. That all depends.
I don't really think it's a bold take to sit here and say that the Big Ten doesn't run through Indiana this year.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people are saying it's running through Oregon. Apparently, they are saying Oregon is the new Indiana, and I'm like, what? No. I mean, in terms of experience, sure, but tell me where Oregon looks like Indiana. Because Mendoza showed up in that game last year. I don't know if y'all watched that Oregon versus Indiana matchup, but one quarterback showed up and the other quarterback committed 5 turnovers in one half. Like, again, I can't overlook these things. You're only as good as your last game. The last game I saw Dante Moore play, he committed 5 turnovers in one half. The last game I watched Mendoza play, he was a big part of the reason why that team won a national championship over Miami. You know what I mean? God, bold takes. I think LSU is a wagon this year. I could see them going to the national championship.
Wow.
It's gonna be it might be bold because, I mean, look at what they had to do. 40 players and a new head coach is a lot. You're paying your quarterback a lot of money, so it almost seems like this has to work. But they didn't get.
Bobby is sort of in agreement with you, Billy. He did say his bold take is that Kiffin takes LSU back to the playoff.
I don't think they're going to win the national championship. I won't go that far. I could see them making an appearance. Now, I think my national championship matchup is Ohio State and LSU right now. Maybe slide Oklahoma in there. Either way, Ohio State's in there. I don't think Ole Miss is that good this year. I think they are the odd SEC team out. I think they missed the playoff entirely. Do I think Trinidad will take a step back? Possibly, but Ole Miss just doesn't have what they had last year talent-wise. It has nothing to do with the coaching. Coaching was great. I just don't think they have what they had last year talent-wise as a whole. And I think the most curious part, Jason, you'll agree with this, is how does the league adjust to Trinidad Chambliss? How does the SEC adapt? So if you don't think they've found a way to adapt in what are we now in month 4 or 5 of the offseason? It's maybe 6. Then those people need to be fired immediately. They're going to have an answer for Chambliss. So I don't know if Chambliss will have an answer. I don't know if USC will be as good as everyone thinks they will be. We'll see what Lincoln Riley's got cooking over there. And I think Houston might be a playoff team. They might run the table.
I don't think they beat Texas Tech in the Big 12.
Texas Tech is in a weird fucking place.
Yeah,
Like,
loaded with money and loaded with talent.
They are, but they're just in a weird...
They're not hurting for money over there.
No, they are not hurting for money at all, but they are in a weird...
You see all the tortillas they throw? Someone's got to pay for those.
They're just in a weird spot. And again, the last game I watched them play, they shat the bed. Big fucking time. All that money and all that talent, and they shit the bed. That, again, doesn't go lost on me. I don't know if Texas Tech is everything we think they're going to be this year. I don't. I think Arizona's a lot better than people give them credit for, and I think Houston's a lot better. We'll see about Utah. Utah is a giant question mark at this point.
Chance, bold takes on college football this year.
Oklahoma wins the SEC.
Is that really
a fully healthy John Mateer?
Is a Heisman.
I mean, he might be on steroids though too. So
have you seen? He looks absolutely jacked.
He looks yoked.
He looks enormous.
He ain't hurting for women at his dorm, I can tell you that much.
Brother has just been living in the gym, just like, I mean...
Any other bold takes this year, Chance?
Well, they don't make the playoff, but Florida has the resurgence they've been looking for that they thought Billy Napier would have provided.
You think Summerall is going to bring it?
I think Summerall will bring it. I think too, when Florida's good in the SEC, that's a tough place to go and play.
Yep.
On the road.
It's a tough place to play already.
8 games. So imagine if they have a resurgence. They're kind of all in the SEC. Kalen DeBoer gets bought out. He does not finish the year.
I think I think if they get off to a rough start, it's bye-bye DeBoer in Oakland.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think he gets bought out before the season's over. No.
I mean, looking back at it now, I think I was listening to. Oh gosh.
Please tell me not Paul Feinbaum.
No.
No, even worse, Colin Cowherd.
No.
Right?
No. I think I was listening
Ryan
to Joel Platt. I think is his last name.
No, he kind of knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he kind of knows what he's talking about. He was saying looking up and down. First off, who's Alabama's quarterback going to be this year? Second off,
The guy who played in the Rose Bowl, the second guy.
right, but for how long? You know what I mean? If it doesn't go well, for how long? And they didn't really have a run game last year. They don't really have one this year either. Ty Simpson, I think, needs a lot more credit than he got last year. Because
No, I think he got the right amount of credit.
I don't think Alabama's going to be that good. Like, they may not have a winning record this year.
I think they'll win 8 games, but that ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah.
If they win 8 games and lose to Auburn, he's toast.
The Auburn looks even worse than they did last year.
And finally, my dark horse in the Big Ten is UCLA.
See, I'm not sold on them. I think if I got to pick a dark horse in the Big Ten, it's going to be USC.
I'm talking about a school that's really never, like, here recently, it's kind of been towards the bottom. USC's always been good.
Yeah. All right.
Like USC, they have expectations to make the playoff this year. UCLA doesn't have that. I'm not saying UCLA is going to make the playoffs.
No, but they're going to be better than they were last year.
Yeah.
Okay. My biggest bold take is with the SEC. South Carolina makes the playoff. Alabama misses it.
I think we all can agree Alabama's not going to be in the playoff
You
this
know,
year.
I'll make one more bold take. Lenore Sellers wins the Heisman.
I think Lenore Sellers is going to have one hell of a year.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a sneaking suspicion about him and the way that he's going to look this year. I don't know why, but
Okay.
You just got a feeling.
Right.
It's just there, brother. It's all good.
He's got Nick Harbor to throw the ball to.
I'll go to the ACC because I feel like there's a couple teams here that could kind of make some noise. SMU wins the ACC and is a top 4 seed in the playoffs.
Second year in the last 3, wouldn't it be?
Is it Jennings still the quarterback?
Yep.
Wow. They have a COVID year?
I guess. I don't know. He's on like his 7th year.
Yeah, fuck.
Um,
Maybe he's going to school to be a doctor.
And
the
I
group
mean,
of 4, bold pick. It is not a team from the Pac-12 to make the playoff.
It's Army.
It's North Dakota State out of the Mountain West.
Could you imagine?
what, watch them get blown out by 60?
I honestly don't think they would. I'm really high on North Dakota State just because of the success that they had in the FCS. And I know it's 2 completely different levels, but if I'm a recruit out that way and I'm picking between them or, you know, with what UCLA has shown me the last few years or Oregon State, Like, yeah, they were power, Oregon State was a Power 4 school, but that Pac-12 ain't going to be shit. And we better not, the committee better not just pick a team out of the Pac-12 that wins the Pac-12 because of the name of the conference. That's my only worry for the year, is that they're going to look at it and be like, oh, Pac-12, you won the Pac-12? Oh, they used to be a power conference. The key words in that whole statement are used to be a power conference.
Exactly.
And I'm hoping that they see it that way too, because the Pac-12 just, even once you bring in these FCS schools, it's just not going to be the same. Obviously it's not. You lose the two biggest draws with that, and that's USC and Oregon. And then I'll say it now so that when they go undefeated, it looks better on me. But I think Ohio State loses 2 games this year.
Who's their second loss?
I think they lose to Nebraska on the road. They have the toughest schedule in the Big Ten by far.
They have one of the toughest schedules in general.
Huh?
You have one of the toughest schedules in the country in general.
Yeah, and Nebraska being the week before Michigan just feels like a trap game to me. And then, like I said, Bobby's bold take was LSU gets back into the playoff. All right. Chance, you gave us your bold Heisman winner. Is that who you want to go with your Heisman pick?
No, my Heisman pick is CJ Carr.
Okay. Billy, who's your pick for the Heisman this year?
If he stays healthy, John Mateer.
I kind of have to agree with you there. I think John Mateer is going to have a big year.
When healthy, who is the best quarterback in college football right now?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Lenore Sellers gets invited to New York.
Right, no, I totally agree. He is a very close second, but, I got to see Lenore win some games. I do. I don't think
it was his... healthy.
Yeah, and stay healthy. If both those guys are healthy, the Heisman race this year is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. We're going to save the 12-team playoff for next week because I want to hear Bobby's thoughts on that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the question I'll end the college football conversation with. I guess it's a 2-parter. Okay? Does Jeremiah Smith get the love for the Heisman if he has the year we expect him to have? It has turned into a quarterback-only award. Do we see him getting the love in the Heisman vote? Chance, what do you think?
It'd have to be drastic. I'm not saying his numbers as compared to everybody else, but compared to his team. If he's single-handedly running away with his by far from his teammates, then yeah, I think he should get the love. But if everybody's eating on that team and he's still having a phenomenal year, then he's probably gonna get more love because he's the one feeding the ball. And if he's spreading it around the field, then
if he's not the center of attention in this offense this year, then no, he won't get it.
Okay. My second part to that. Even if Jeremiah Smith doesn't win the Heisman, if he wins it, if he doesn't win it, is he your one of one in this year's draft?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know we said the same thing about Harrison, and he kind of fell a few spots, but realistically, if you're a team picking at number one, yeah, you may not have the quarterback to throw to him But would you
Depends
rather
on who's
take-
picking at 1.
Okay.
I think it just all depends on who picks at 1. Like, if the Jets pick at 1, let's say Mateer wins the Heisman,
There's your number one
they're
pick.
probably going to go Mateer.
Yeah. Because who's bad? Who do we think is going to be bad in the NFL that needs a wide receiver?
Raiders,
Tennessee,
the Raiders. I think Tennessee's going to surprise some people.
I think Miami is going to be bad.
Miami.
Are they going to give up on Malik Willis so quick?
I don't know if they're going to give him on Malik. I think they're just going
Yeah.
to give up
Well, they
on.
certainly don't have anybody to throw the ball to. I know that.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah.
Well, since we're just throwing these around, I don't think Tennessee is going to finish dead last in the South. I can tell you that.
No, I think Jacksonville has a down year.
I think the Colts are going to finish dead last.
Yeah, that too.
I still have Jacksonville winning their division.
If Stroud remembers how to play the game of football again, I think the Houston Texans will be just fine. But we'll see.
Okay, right now, if we didn't have the draft, okay, Chance, where's the best fit for a generational wide receiver like Jeremiah Smith?
Hold on, I just got a kick return for a touchdown on me. God damn it.
Buddy's going through it.
Online?
No, my dynasty.
Oh no.
That's even worse.
Yeah. Cutting the kicker. He didn't make the tackle. Just kick it
cut
out of bounds from now
everyone else.
on.
Better cut everyone else on that team.
God. So, like, are we talking like the bottom 5 teams from this year's draft?
Yeah.
So that was what? The Raiders, the Jets. Fuck, I forgot who's 3. Is the Giants in 3?
Yep. I think it was like
4.
I think it might have been Cleveland at
Arizona.
4. Yeah,
Arizona was at 3, Giants at 4, and somebody was at 5. I don't know.
Tennessee 5?
They might have been. I think Cleveland was at 6.
It's probably between Tennessee and the Giants. They still, I mean, both teams have quarterbacks that we think are somewhat good. So yeah, it's probably one of those 2 teams.
I mean, think of this scenario. We get to the draft next year. Vegas is picking number 1. You just took Fernando Mendoza. He had a decent year but has nobody to throw to. I think Jeremiah Smith goes number 1 overall.
Yes. If the Jets pick number 1, it's whoever won the Heisman.
Yeah. It'll be between, I agree.
Now, here's an interesting one. I think the Colts are going to be a bottom 5 team. Do they go quarterback or do they go receiver? They still believe Daniel Jones is...
They just paid him $50 million a year. Plus. And he's going to be available when?
Yeah, they just paid him for a year, though. They didn't pay for the full...
Oh, I thought they
They
did
didn't give him
2.
like a...
I thought they did 2 for $50 annual.
I thought it was just a year.
It might have been a year, but
It might have been 2.
Yeah, I thought they did 2 for $50 annual. I'm like, I don't know if you pay a guy that money and then go quarterback hunting in the draft the very next year.
Yeah, it's probably the Raiders picking at 1 again. Like, Jeremiah's probably going to end up with the Raiders, if I had to guess.
Imagine that, the
Good.
two best players in the Big Ten from last year playing together with Vegas.
It's either going to be Vegas or Miami. Those are the two teams that need a receiver. The other teams that are probably going to be at the bottom need a quarterback.
Well, are the Raiders going to be as bad as, no offense, Jason, the
Yes, they're
Cleveland
gonna-
Browns?
I don't know. It all just depends on the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
I think
what's their
Cleveland's
situation?
defense is 10 times better than the Raiders' defense.
And I think Cleveland goes quarterback. I really want to see Cleveland end up with C.J. Carr.
Oh, suck my nuts. I just returned a kickoff.
I thought you were talking to me.
Oh, well, I mean, if you want to.
It's getting late on the show.
Nah, Billy did it enough in on that Stadium Series trip. Or on the, no, it was the trip before that.
I mean, Tennessee, if they are that bad, but I don't think they're going to be that bad.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, are we
Enough
all
to warrant a
agreement
top
that
pick.
Jeremiah Smith is the best player in college football?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure that, we agree on that. Because having that, I think that John Mateer does have a really good shot to win the Heisman. I think he's going to be the best quarterback in college football this year. But I don't think C.J. Carr is that far off from him. And I don't think Lenora Sellers is far off from them.
No, absolutely not. This year is going to be a great quarterback year in college football.
And Dante Moore.
Yeah, can he
Dante
perform?
Moore. I've got to see a little bit more out of Julian Sayin, especially running the ball.
Right?
Can he get
Is
outside
Maava
of the
coming
pocket?
out
Who?
from USC? Maava, is he coming out of the draft this year?
I think so.
After,
Yeah, I mean, there are quarterback
I think
storylines.
I think
all over the
Maava's
place.
in the same spot Dante Moore was in last year, depending on how well he plays.
I mean, Hoover in Indiana now, is he any good? Mendoza's
He's a
brother,
senior.
is he any good?
I think he's a carbon copy of Mendoza.
Right?
I don't think he has the arm strength.
And Mendoza
It's just another
won a
quarterback who just
Heisman.
plays shotgun. They didn't play under center.
And Mendoza just won a Heisman, so it's like,
Well, and
I know
Hoover
that
wears,
quarterback class wasn't that great, but it's just like, still, I mean, hey, fucking A. Like, what if Pevitt from Arizona State transferred to LSU? What
Levitt.
if Levitt, sorry. What if he's like a stud under Lane Kiffin? What if Lane was the secret to unlocking his game even more than it was in Arizona State?
Is Gunnar Stockton going to leave?
Right. Can Gunner have a good breakout year in Georgia? We don't know.
The
Who
Red
knows what
Sox
Arch
lost,
does?
boys.
Yeah, they did lose. Yeah, who knows
Winning
about
streak
Arch?
is over.
Because Arch, if he is anywhere close to the Heisman finalist, teams are just going to take him for the namesake.
It's just so many names this year at the quarterback position.
Yeah, it's a very good quarterback class.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for Jeremiah. Last year was the year in my mind.
I don't think it's going to be that hard for Jeremiah. I really don't.
I mean, he is a generational wide receiver.
Right.
He is. This is just coming from me. I know, Jason, you watched him, but I think he is 10 times better than Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
But if he's not that center of attention at Ohio State, I am afraid he's going to get overlooked.
I mean, 2 years ago when we went?
He made that
They
catch
played
against
Iowa.
Iowa, the one
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like you just don't see guys making. I get it's in college, but who the hell cares?
Right.
I mean, you throw the ball up around him. If it's a 50-50 ball, he's going to go get it.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got the size. He is built too, and he's got the speed.
Hmm.
what's he run? 4.3?
He's
Probably.
an NFL level wide receiver just playing college football right now.
Yeah,
He was an NFL caliber wide
Receiver.
receiver his freshman year.
Right.
yeah.
But I just, Jason, as good as the quarterback class is going to be this year in college football and the quarterback play, I think that will be played this year.
You got to think though.
See, and that's what I thought too. I thought the quarterback class would be too good, but at the same time, if a team picking high doesn't need a quarterback, then I think he's the guy, one of one.
Right. Yeah. If he's the reason Ohio State is undefeated or just has one loss or, you know, whatever the case may be, if he's center stage and is clearing his classmates on, you know, in terms of numbers and all that stuff, he'll be at least invited. I don't know if he'll win, but I think he'll have a good
You know, a
chance.
team we didn't throw out there that could potentially be in the top 5 picking? The Saints.
True.
I think they're going to be better this year.
We'll see what.
Plus, they bring in ETN.
You know, that
They brought
gives.
in ETN?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, does that help out Tyler Shuck a little bit?
I think Shuck's going to have a surprisingly good year.
Right.
He should have. I mean, he was playing like Rookie of the Year last year when they gave him the opportunity.
Right.
The problem for them is who the hell is he going to throw to?
Exactly.
Other
That's
than
what
Chris
I'm saying.
Olave.
Well, can he stay healthy? Can he stay out of the blue tent?
Yeah, him and that blue 10 are best friends. At this point, he's got a
I
whole
mean-
setup in there.
The
I know
problem
we
with the
talked
Saints
about
is,
it
for
a
me,
lot.
is their defense.
Yeah.
How many guys are going to need wheelchairs to go to a nursing home because of how old they are?
Yeah, it's bad. It's brutal.
I know
What's
we
Cam
talked
Jordan?
about it a lot, especially me being an Ohio State fan, but can we just take a minute to sit back and look at the just generational run of wide receiver talent that has come out of Ohio State the last few years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And you
that's
got-
5.
Yeah,
I mean,
and you've
even
got
a little
some
bit further
guys-
back. I mean, you look at Michael Thomas.
I mean, you got some guys coming up too.
Yeah, we just signed Jet Harrison too. He committed,
Yeah.
and Marvin says he's better than he is.
Yeah.
Well, they always say that.
But I mean,
Jet's the real
Chris
deal.
Olave, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr. You know,
We'll see what Cardell Tate is.
yeah, Carnell Tate, Emeka Egbuka. You know, and then you bring out Jeremiah Smith.
Might be better than them
Like-
all.
Well,
Good
we'll
Lord.
know. We'll definitely know about Ibuka this year now that Mike Evans is gone.
Yep, he is their number one.
I mean, we kind of knew about Egbuka last year. He kind of took over as wide receiver 1 last year.
and then unfortunately got hurt.
Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Oh, fuck you,
the
Billy.
Heisman will be interesting, and it all revolves around 2 guys who, if they're healthy, might run away with it.
I am in agreement with Chance, though. I think it's John, or Billy, you might have said it. I'm in agreement that I think it's John Mateers to lose.
Mm-hmm. It definitely was last year before he got hurt, and I think we're back at that point this year.
I mean, the big question for Oklahoma is going to be the defense. It always is with those teams in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
Can they play enough defense to compete with the teams in the SEC and the Big 10?
Yep. Yeah, because that offense got way better. Now, can the defense keep up? Because, I mean, I think the question is the defense better or worse than it was a year ago? That will be the question. Because last year, a lot of their offense was coming off of their defense. If Oklahoma, I mean, we said it last year, if Oklahoma wasn't creating their own chances, scoring chances on offense, they weren't winning a whole lot of football, or there were very low scoring affairs. But if the defense was going out there getting turnovers, I think they led the country, or at least the SEC, in turnovers per game. But if the defense was getting turnovers, it was like, hey, 30 points easy. If they weren't, that's going to be a rough night. So that's.
I mean, Michigan will be a good test and will tell us early.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Michigan's offense is going to be very good, but
Nope.
Michigan always has a strong defense. But you just don't know what to expect with them because now it's not Sharon Moore, it's Kyle Whittingham.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he bring to the table for Michigan is going to be a huge question this year.
Right.
Well, he certainly won't be looking at women's Instagrams.
Or having sexual relations with staffers and then threatening to kill them.
Yeah, that too. That's
But I mean, that's going to be the other big thing for them this year. That whole Michigan team is, can they put that behind them? Because that's going to be a main talking point the whole year.
Yeah, well, not really, because they hired an AD who brought over his very young and not ugly secretary with him. So,
Well, Ward Manuel's resigning at the end of the year. So
well, that
Yeah,
tells
he
that
has to.
story.
basically that or you get fired.
I mean,
That
he let
tells-
how much shit go within that athletic department? Just in the football program alone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like they didn't do much better with the hire. I'm not trying to put things out there, but 2 + 2 is always equal to 4, and the new AD definitely yeah. Anyway, so no, I
College
don't think they
football is
can.
going to be interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, and the team that I think we're going to start to talk about more as the season rolls on, that we didn't talk a whole lot about tonight, is Florida State. They've got some big early tests with SMU and Alabama, and we'll see what they've got. I mean, can they get back to a high level in the ACC in a conference that we all agreed we don't know what the fuck's going to happen?
yeah. This may just be the winner of the ACC is the only team that might make it in. There is that chance. Because the Big Ten's really fucking good this year. They might be
that's
3,
the
4
other
teams
thing,
deep.
though, is the Big Ten has surpassed the SEC as the premier conference in college football, and it's not even close.
Yeah, and how many SEC teams do make it this year? Because it's not like the SEC is sorry.
I don't think that's the biggest question with the SEC. I think the question with the SEC is which teams make it in.
Because this isn't going to be. I don't think it's going to be the same batch of teams, and you'll see that next week with my 12. I don't have really the same batch of 12 that we've had in the last couple. I have my team
I think
in there.
The big thing with Georgia is Kirby's starting to lose a lot of credibility with people.
Maybe. I don't think it has anything to do with coaching. I just think it has a lot to do with youth. I just think this is going to be an off year for Georgia. Now, an off year being, maybe a 8, 9, 10 seed. Not a horrible year. But the standard is the standard in Athens, so it's a bad year for them. But, I mean, the last 2 years have been SEC titles, and then, boom, first game you're knocked out after the bye. So maybe they need a kick in the ass to get back to winning ways. Time will tell.
We shall see. I think there's a lot of teams out there. I think Notre Dame ends up a top 4 seed too. I'm really high on Notre Dame this year.
I have them 5 right now. I'm not gonna lie.
I have 1.
The only reason I don't have them 1
only
chance is
reason
that
I
schedule
don't
is
see them as number 1 chance is
Schedule.
If Ohio State runs the table, then it's going to be really hard because of the schedule.
If Ohio State
Yeah,
if Ohio State loses 1 game and wins the Big Ten, they are number 1, no doubt.
Depends on who that loss is to.
Right. If they go out
Yeah,
and they lose a close game to Texas and then just win the rest of their games and win the Big Ten, number 1.
We'll see what they've got. We'll see what all these teams got. It's going to be a very interesting year in college football, though.
Absolutely.
Training camp starts next week.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I'll get fantasy football stuff figured out here soon.
Fuck yeah.
We'll do a $20 buy-in again.
Yeah. All right, dudes.
So, all right.
that's college football. That's a show. It's a hell of a show. I'll get all that out on YouTube, Twitch, eventually when I get a second and I'm not doing 12, 13-hour shifts. But we'll have more college football next week, more trade deadline probably in a couple weeks because the trade deadline ends next Friday. Yeah. Friday or
Let's
Saturday.
start doing
So.
some previews for the NFL next week too.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Football
We'll start with the division
We went
that
over our
none of
team
us
schedules a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Last episode?
Yeah, we did last episode. We just started going through our team schedules. We all came to the conclusion that
Everybody's winning 11 games.
yeah.
had, except for mine.
If you lose 11 games, it's a good season, Jason. I think that's where we're at with the Cleveland Browns.
If we lose 15 games, it's a good season.
Damn, that means there's an
Can I get a face
0-7.
mask?
All right, boys. Well, Chad, it's been fun. Thank you, Jason, for picking up the bulk of the show tonight. Thank you, Chance. Bobby, get better soon, bro. Hope to see you next week. And
Stay away from lettuce.
stay away from lettuce. We'll be back next week, probably sometime. We might do a trade deadline show next Friday evening. We'll see. Kind of react to everything. Since I have my own place now, I can kind of do more shows. We can do live shit now. We can do more emergency shows. So I'm thinking a trade deadline show might have to happen next week. But we'll get all that figured out, sorted. And guys, anything?
Nope.
All right. See you guys next week. Bye.
Yeah,